Hello, Algebra 2 students. Today we are going to learn about the slope of a line, also known as the rate of change. We are going to start with some examples from Algebra 1. If you remember the slope formula that you see in the middle of your screen right here, that the slope of the line, or its steepness, is the rise over the run, which is the difference in the y values over the difference in the x values. So what I always suggest that we do is label our 2 points before we find the slope. So I'm going to label the first one x1, y1, the second point x2, y2, and that just means that the point 5, is the first point, the point 13 is the second point. I will then use the slope formula to find the slope. So y2 minus y1, 3 minus 5, over x2 minus x1, 1 minus 5. So our slope is -2 over -4, which reduces to 1/2. Remember that the slope means how much we rise over how much we run. So this slope tells us we go up 1 for every 2 we go to the right. Very good, let's try it again. Number 2, first thing again, label your points, x1, y1, x2, y2, and we use the formula, y2, so -7 minus -1 over 0 minus -3. Now be careful with your signs because negative turns into a positive, so our slope would be -7 plus 1, or -6 over +3, which is -2. A reminder that this means for every 2 we go down, we would go 1 to the right. Okay, because this is -2 over 1. Great, so one more time, let's do it again. Again, label your points, x1, y1, x2, y2, and our slope would be -4 minus -3 over 5 minus -2. Again, being really careful with your signs, the slope would be -1 over 7, which again means for every 1 you go down, you would go to the right 7. So that's just using the slope formula. Now we're going to take a look at some visuals. Okay, so some vocabulary. The first one is a positive slope, which means it rises. When we look at it rising, we're looking from left to right. This line is going uphill. If it has a negative slope or falls, again from left to right, it's going downhill. Now if you notice down at the bottom we have our 2 special cases, a line that has 0 slope, or a flat line, a line that has an undefined slope, or a vertical line. I always told my Algebra 1 students that if you can walk on it, it has a slope. So you can walk up a hill, you can walk down a hill, you can walk along a flat surface, but we can't walk up a wall unless you're Spider-Man. So a few helpful hints that if you were using the slope formula and you got 0 slope, you would get to something that looks like this, 0 over 5. And if you used your calculator and did 0 over 5, you would get 0, indicating a horizontal line. If you were working that same slope formula and you got something like this, the slope equals 6 over 0. If you were unsure what to do with that, and you put that in your calculator, it would yell at you and tell you there was an error or is undefined because we can't divide by 0. So we would say the slope of this line is undefined, meaning that the line is vertical. Some things to remember also, that parallel lines have the same slope. So 2 lines that are parallel look like this, which we know from geometry. They never intersect, hence the slopes being the same. Lines that are perpendicular intersect to form right angles. and their slopes are negative reciprocals, meaning one is positive, one is negative. Reciprocals, meaning that they are flipped. 1/3 becomes 3/1. Okay. Steeper lines have bigger slopes. For example, a slope of 2, a line that would be steeper would be a slope of 5. Okay guys, now it's your turn. We want you to use those examples that you just saw, both with the slope formula and the vocabulary, to work these 7 examples. You should do this on their sheet that says video examples. Thanks so much for watching the video. Watch it again if you need more help, and we'll see you in class tomorrow.